Well, there's anger, outrage and a lot of sadness in the national capital tonight after a 20-year-old student from Arunachal Pradesh, the son of an MLA, was found dead a day after being brutally beaten by a group of men in the Lajpat Nagar market in South Delhi. The fight broke out after alleged racist comments were made on Nido's looks. No arrests have been made so far.
20-year-old Nido Tanyam was in Delhi for a 10-day holiday. Yesterday, the first-year student from Arunachal Pradesh was found dead in his room. Just the day before, he was brutally beaten by 6 men with sticks and iron rods in Lajpat Nagar, a prominent South Delhi market. It was at this sweet shop that the fight broke out. Nido, along with 2 friends, were looking for an address in the area. But instead of getting an answer, he was ridiculed. A gang of men made fun of his hair. Nido allegedly asked them to apologize and a fight erupted, in which he allegedly broke a glass at the shop.
कल मैं लाजपत नगर थाने गया तो वहाँ पे उन लोगों ने बताया कि इनकी कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ भी हुई थी और सब ठीक था, कोई खास इंजरी नहीं है.
Minutes later, after the police had left, Nido was caught by the men and beaten again. But these men who work at the sweet shop allege otherwise.
हम 2 भाई बैठ रहे अपने आपस में मजाक कर रहे थे, हंस रहे थे, तो उसने ये समझा मुझे देख के हंस रहे हैं. 2-3 कदम चलाए, उसके बाद उसने पंच मारा है शीशे में.
His family, distraught with the loss, blame his death on his injuries. But the police want to wait for the post-mortem report.
With this incident, I fear whether Delhi is safe for Northeastern students or not.
Even as the police tread cautiously, Nido's friends have labelled it as a racist crime.
I many times experience this. When we pass somewhere, everywhere, any gully and all, the people shouting that, Nepali and all.
Predictably, the Delhi government blamed the police instead.
More than blaming someone for this incident, better we start looking upon who is responsible for such incidents.
Police say that they will wait for the formal post-mortem report before taking any further action in this case, and also reaching the conclusion as to whether or not this is the result of a hate crime. But for the family, this is a sudden tragic loss which they are finding hard to come to terms with. With Sonal Mehrotra and Mohammad Mursalin in New Delhi, Tanima Viswas for NDTV.
Well, I want to stress here that we've been careful not to label this a racist attack outright. There are facts that need to be ascertained by the police first. There is a probe that has to be conducted before we come to that conclusion. But it is a question we're asking because there were alleged racist comments that were passed on this young man when this fight broke out. Is Delhi, after that whole incident we saw with the Ugandan women, becoming an increasingly intolerant city, a city that is becoming increasingly racist? These are some questions that we need to ask ourselves tonight. Joining us this evening is Ninong Ering, who is a Lok Sabha MP from Arunachal Pradesh and Minister of State for Minority Affairs. Writer and activist Beena Lakshmi Nefram is here in the studio with us. We have Shehzad Poonawala of the Congress Party as well, and Ved Marwa, the former Commissioner of Police. I'd also like to stress here that the Aam Aadmi Party refused to speak on this subject tonight despite repeated requests to join us on this program. Mr. Ering, let me ask you first, sir, what more details can you tell us on this incident? I believe that you now want to meet the Home Minister over this. Do you have reason to believe that this was a racist attack or just a hooliganism and a fight that went horribly wrong?
First of all, I would like to condemn the incident which occurred because it could have been, very easily it could have been, diverted because, excuse me, the child, the way he dressed and the hairstyle he had, it's very normal for the Northeast. But here in Delhi, it becomes completely a different issue. Here, people, they very frequently see these kinds of, in these dresses. So I think the young boy and his friend, it was a very normal thing for them to go and ask someone that the address they wanted to go to. Now what happened is that when I was just hearing in this interview, where the people were saying that they were just joking among themselves and the boy thought that he was laughing at them. So, but I don't think that they were laughing at someone. They were laughing at his hairstyle or the way he was asking them. So this kind of sentiment of feelings, this is a very throughout the Northeast region. I have got complaints. Not only now, we had several meetings, even with the last accident also with when Mr. Salman Khan took a meeting with all of the Northeastern MPs. This thing was discussed. Now, in this issue, I would really feel bad, and such a innocent, young boy who had just recently come here for his holidays.
You clearly believe that this was a racial attack, and do you also feel that that the Delhi police didn't do its job?
Let me tell you one thing about this, about the racial criticism or the racial remarks they made. That must have been made because I was not there, but I cannot justify. But the thing is that when a person of our origin from the northeast, with his chinky eyes and short nose, when they go to the mall or to the market or even to the movies or anywhere, you'll see that certain criticism or remarks are made, especially on the girls. A lot of comments are passed on, and which is very unfortunate. But this case of we cannot say it's a racist attack or kind of it started with an individual kind of tussle, but gradually you'll have to say, because they thought that such a young boy from the northeast, and then there were 10-15 of them and just gerawing and beating him up, then of course you'll have to say that they underestimated us. That means they are from another origin. Okay, we can do whatever we want with them. This kind of feeling should not be there.
No, I can see that this is obviously so disturbing what has happened with Beena Lakshmi. You were shaking your head there. Why? Because you've been talking about the systematic, in a sense, discrimination that students from the northeast and young people from the northeast face in the national capital. Again, I want to stress that we don't want to jump to conclusions in this case either, and be careful about that. What do you know about the sequence of events?
I mean, the sequence of events is for everyone to see. We have been national media picked up after we were tweeting it constantly throughout the day. We were shocked that none of the national media base in Delhi did not cover this event in which this young boy, Nido Tanyam from Arunachal, was beaten to death. What I would like to say in this little program is that, like Mr. Nidong Iring said, that he will not call it outrightly as a racist attack. For us, I want the politicians, the lawmakers of this country, to recognize for once that there is a systematic racial attack against people, young people, men and women of the northeast. Last year, Rangamfi was killed in her own flat in Chirag, Delhi, 29th May 2013. Dana Sangma was killed, died in mysterious death in Amity near Delhi. Richard Loitam was beaten to death in Bangalore. Hongre died in Munirka, just a few kilometers from here, again in one of the killings which happened to the women of Northeast. A young boy in 2008 was thrown off his second-floor rented room by the landlord's son in Safdarjung Enclave area. So it is time that India wakes up to the reality that there is racism in this country, all across the country, xenophobia in this country, to say this land is mine, this area is mine. Nido Tanyam's killing is a byproduct of the systematic violence which is really made serious because our policymakers have failed, even after 6-7 years of independence, to recognize that we need to let the issues of the Northeast, even the fact we have been campaigning for, including the history of Northeast India in the Indian syllabus, has not been done, which means the history and the culture of 45 million Indians is not coming out.
But you use strong words there, and I'll take that to Mr. Ved Mara. Sir, you've been in Delhi for decades. Do you see the city becoming...
I've been in Northeast for also...
yeah, exactly. And do you see this city becoming increasingly xenophobic and racist, as Beena says?
I won't generalize all incidents to any racial thing. But the fact remains there is tremendous ignorance about the Northeast in Delhi. Northeast is one of the most attractive parts of the country. People are by and large, I think, one of the most affectionate people when an outsider goes. And there are insurgent groups, but that apart. And it's a very different region. You can't compare Manipur with Mizoram, with Arunachal, with here everything is lumped as one. Their language is different, their cultural things are different. And the most important thing, that this most attractive and economically potential, one of the richest part of the country, people here in Delhi believe that they are backward, and that sensitivity.
Ignorance, that
but
ignorance
they are sensitive. These are small states. if anybody discriminates against somebody in Tamil Nadu, there will be no problem. But when somebody makes remarks against a young boy about his hairstyle or anything else, he will take it very seriously, because his whole personality, his whole identity is being threatened. This point is not quite appreciated. Delhi police can't be everywhere to prevent this sort of cases. What police can do is to treat these cases as high priority area, arrest the people in the quickest possible time, prosecute them, and ensure that the judicial verdict is given as early as possible. Apart from that, the various political and social organizations should bring Northeast to Delhi. No, it is not only geographically remote, it is also, people just don't know Northeast at all.